and two player props that pop out on the matchup tonight, the matchup menu, that is. And let's get right into it with the Giants and Braves. Second in the series, the Giants have scored 3 or fewer runs in 9 of their last 13. They have struggled in particular against hard throwers. Let's drill down on that thought. Tonight they face Spencer Strider, as we talked about earlier. He is 95% fastballs and sliders. He's got the second highest average fastball velo at just over 98 miles an hour. His slider's very good, garnering an opponent's average of just 132. The Giants really struggle against fastballs, as we talked about. Belt, Longoria, Casali, Flores, they're all better against off-speed. So we're saying give the Giants total of 3.5. Some consideration to the under tonight. What about Andrew Vaughn's night against Kevin Gausman? What's this going to look like? Vaughn, by the way, second in big league baseball with a .416 average since the start of May 31st. He's got a total base prop of what we think is a reachable 1.5 at plus money. So let's drill down. Vaughn against fastballs and off speed, a .369 average, second best in the league. Kevin Gausman is, as we know, fastballs and split. So 87% of his repertoire. As such, Vaughn, a guy who likes to hit that kind of repertoire. And by the way, Andrew's coming off a 4-hit game yesterday, and he's 7 for his last 14. Think about Andrew Vaughn's total base over 1.5 at plus money. And finally, back to that Cleveland-Minnesota game we talked about. Byron Buxton in the month of June has been terrific, slugging over .827 by percentage points. He faces Aaron Savali tonight, against whom he has hit 2 homers. Let's drill down on the matchup. Buxton second best in big league baseball against breaking pitches and cutters since the start of last year. Savali, over half of his repertoire. Breaking pitches and cutters since the start of last year. That's the 10th highest usage in baseball. We're saying give some consideration to Buxton's total base prop over 1.5 at -110 on BetMGM. Ariel is back, and the prop stop is open. She loves these pitching strikeout props. She's saving the Diamond K for a little bit later. But let's start with Martin Perez at home against the Phillies tonight with a K prop of 4.5. Which side are you on?
I like the under, 4.5 strikeouts on the Texas Rangers left-hander Martin Perez. The Philadelphia Phillies have the 8th highest K rate against lefties this year, in addition to the fact that went up against teams with a top 15 K rate.
Wait, you like the under or the over?
Over.
Over. Okay, got
over.
it. Yeah.
4.5 strikeouts.
Did you say over or under? What did I hear?
I said over.
Maybe it's
yeah.
because
I feel like you got a little sidetracked.
I told somebody to play it over, so okay, over. Got it.
Over.
Okay.
Because you like him, remember? We were talking about this before the show.
Yeah.
You love Martin Perez. You take it very personally if I were to bet it under. Perez to the over because he's gone over this in 5 of 7 games, went up against a team with a top 15 K rate against left-handers. The Phillies, 8th highest K rate against lefties, averaging just under 5 strikeouts a game, went up against those southpaws. Go with the over on Perez tonight. Okay. You like to find value with starters that are not household names. And no offense, but I think Ryan Feltner probably is considered as such. Really good right-hander. And on the mound tonight against the Marlins. What side of his 5.5 strikeout prop do you like? I'm going over 5.5 strikeouts on the starter for the Colorado Rockies tonight in Ryan Feltner because he's going up against the team in the Marlins that is the 10th highest K rate against right-handed pitchers this season. The Marlins went through a stretch of time where they weren't striking out as much against righties. It was concerning me because the Marlins are one of my favorite lineups to go bet overs against. Now they're back on track where they were last year as a top 10 K rate team. Went up against a team with a top 15 K rate. Feltner's gone over this number in 4 out of his 5 starts. The Marlins are averaging just over 5 strikeouts a game when up against right-handed pitchers. Go with the over in plus money nonetheless, which is good value, over 5.5 on Feltner. Whenever I see you going over 5.5 or 6.5, I think you really must like it a lot because your sweet spot for strikeout overs, correct me if I'm wrong, is around 3.5, 4.5, and that's where Cubs right-hander Matt Swarmer is tonight. Another pitcher that you wouldn't necessarily think to look at, yet the Pittsburgh Pirates is his opponent. Swarmer over 3.5 strikeouts is the play because the Pirates, they have the 3rd highest K rate against righties this year. And Swarmer's gone over this number in majority of his starts this season. He's gone over in all 4. In addition to both games with the top 15 K rate against righties, Milwaukee and San Diego, he had 4 and 6. The problem here, Maddie, is that this K prop has gone up in most spots to 4.5.
Yeah.
4 is the key number here for Swarmer, which is why I wouldn't advise an over 4.5 strikeouts. Stick to the over 3.5 if you could still find it, considering this Pittsburgh team averages just over 5 strikeouts a start when up against right-handers.
Okay, so shop around or pass as it's up to 4.5 at most markets is what you're saying. All right, last one you have before your Diamond K coming up later is from this Angels-Royals game. What side and who do you like on a strikeout prop there?
Kansas City Royals side over on their right-hander for Jonathan Heasley, 4.5 strikeouts. The Angels have the highest K rate in baseball when facing right-handed pitchers. They're averaging just over 5 strikeouts a start against those righties, with righties 27 and 20 over under their K prop. Not a huge sample size here. Heasley's only faced 3 teams with a top 15 K rate against righties. However, he's gone over in 2 out of the 3 of those games. The one he didn't go over against, first start of the year on the road against the Texas Rangers. I'm not going to consider someone's first start of the year, which was on the road, as something I'm going to necessarily be nervous about. He went over on the other 2, so give me the over on Heasley tonight, 4.5 against the team that strikes out the most against righties.
Well, you didn't bank in the fact that Shohei's going to hit a 2-run homer in the first, and they're going to knock him out by the 3rd inning.
You know, this has just become a complete knock on the Kansas City Royals, and I'm not here for it. We're just going to go back and forth on this Royals-Angels game all night long for the whole series.
I'm endorsing the Halos. That's all. I'm just pushing back on your Kansas City stuff a little bit.
Just because a pitcher goes over his strikeout prop doesn't mean that the Angels have to lose.
That's true. That's true. That's good advice. Let's take a break. We have more to get to, including Ariel's Diamond K play of the day. That's the strikeout prop she likes the most. And what does Rick Ankiel think about this terrible blight of position pitchers mopping up blowouts? We'll get Rick's thoughts on that and more when we visit with him next on The Spread.